I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Welcome, everyone. That includes all genders, well, the two of them, but also all races, all religions, all backgrounds from all over, including the wacko left liberals, as well as the neocons. This is the Hot AF show. I appreciate you listening. I also want to give a shout out to any Antifa in the house and give the invitation that if you are interested in getting a good workout in, slide into my DMs. I'm always looking for a sparring partner at my local boxing gym and would love to discuss politics and your agenda while we get our heart rate up. So you can reach me at Hot AF Show on Instagram. Anyway, this is episode 4, and I'm happy to announce that Hot AF is now an international show. We've got some listeners in Australia and Europe. Thanks for finding me. I think it's really cool. I'm also excited about some pretty awesome guests that are lined up, from a former professional boxer, a Navy SEAL, a gun and knife manufacturer. So I'm pretty excited to share that with you when those episodes are released, and just continue to grow this thing and provide a wealth of entertainment that's free of charge for your listening ears. But in the meantime, I felt obligated to get on the hot topic of what in the hell are we sending our kids back to for school. You know, we live in this COVID environment and world right now, and no one knows. Hell, if you ask 10 doctors, you're going to get 10 different opinions, and it'd likely be split down the middle on each side, one being, hey, this is some serious shit that we're in, and the other half are more lax. You know, they've seen worse, they've dealt with worse. So what do we know about this virus? Well, hey, let's see what the media has told us. Because you should definitely trust the media, right? It came from some market in Wuhan. Oh, wait, it didn't come from a market in Wuhan, China. Although I love when Trump refers to it as it came from China. In fact, I have a mask that I bought from some Instagram ad. Gosh, I buy so much shit from Instagram ads. Anyway, it's a picture of Trump's face. It's his lips and teeth zoomed in where he says, China. I've actually got the clip right here.
It's not racist at all. No, not at all. It comes from China.
That one. Anyway, because more and more places are making you wear these masks, I don't know if I agree with them or not. And I'm just tired of dealing. I just don't want to deal with the bullshit and having to explain myself 25 times to all the different people in the stores, or have to deal with fines, although I'm not sure if that's legal or not. I got a Trump mask. That's my only one. And people recognize it, and it's funny as hell. Like Costco, I was there yesterday, and I got more compliments on that mask. It almost makes me want to wear a mask now. But I'm not saying that I'm anti-mask or pro-mask. I'm pro-choice. Think about that one, people. But anyway, getting back to what the media has told us, it can live on surfaces for up to 21 days. And then, I don't know, it now doesn't live on surfaces long. We need to social distance. But protests, especially Democratic protests, meaning the party, not the freedom, but protests and looting of hundreds of people, that's totally cool. That's okay. Again, the media. We don't need masks. Leave those for healthcare providers and workers. And all of a sudden, everyone needs to wear a mask, freaking everywhere. And like it's happening daily with the updates. I can't go to the grocery store starting, and that's the other thing, starting July 22nd, call it. Okay, today's July 16th. How in the MFing hell does all of a sudden July 22nd, theoretical date, because it is an advanced date from today. So don't quote me on it, all you keyboard warriors out there. What's the 22nd going to do that the 17th isn't going to do? I mean, really? I guess that mandate wasn't created by the idiots on the mopeds or motorcycles that are wearing a mask, no helmet, but a freaking disposable, nasty, month-old mask. Jesus. So, continuing on, cloth masks are okay. And then the virus can live on a mask for, 7 days? So you should treat them like a biohazard? Well, I haven't seen, I see recycle bins out and about, trash here, recycle there. No biohazard bins like they have in the hospital and stuff. By the way, here are two big middle fingers to waste management in Sarasota County, Florida. Waste management in Sarasota effing County, the recycling and trash pickup is a complete piece of shit. And if you have a box, which, goddamn, I got Amazon boxes every day showing up to my house. To get rid of those, I got to take a box cutter out, or shout out to my Spyderco knife, or knives, because I have a couple of them due to my privilege, and rip the freaking things apart. But it's too much work. So you know what I do? I take my frustration and my anger out and I stomp on the damn things. And you know what I do next? I get a big ass black contractor bag that I buy from Home Depot or Lowe's, which is made of plastic and a lot of it. And I put the cardboard into the freaking contractor bag, because are you kidding me? You're going to make me break these down into bite-sized pieces? Where I came from previous to this location, you could put a fucking nuclear bomb out on the side of the road and Waste Management, the same company, would pick it up and they would dispose of it however they do. Again, my opinion, it all goes to the same damn dump facility, whatever, anyway. So let's go back to the COVID mess and what we know about this virus, right? The virus is so incredibly deadly to anyone, really. And then, wait, it's only an issue or a threat if you have an underlying health condition. Well, who has an underlying health condition? I mean, fuck, there's only one Tom Brady. I contracted a virus twice, 2 different ones, that damn near killed me. Did I have an underlying condition to that virus? I don't know. The experts didn't know either. They just said, hey, it's all about how your body accepts the virus. Some people have no symptoms whatsoever, and they're fine. Some people get kind of ill, they don't feel well, but they're okay. Some people get put in the cardiac intensive care unit, that would be me, having a massive heart attack, which fortunately only turned out to be what's called myocarditis, and it's inflammation of the heart, but it's still deadly due to a virus. But I didn't have any underlying conditions. It's just the way my body reacted my immune system, how it reacted to this particular virus at the time. The virus can't be transmitted through animals. But what about these dogs testing positive for COVID? So all of these measures are not effective. Look at the spread. Again, today is Thursday, July 16th, and the spread in the media, at least what they're portraying, it's like there's no end in sight. I have a friend of a friend that was in line for the test, fills out the documents or paperwork, whatever, to get tested, and all of a sudden while they're in line, they ran out of tests. So she goes back home and, she's a mom, she's busy. She doesn't have time to go back and get retested. But after like 2 days or so, she gets the results. And what do you know? She's positive for fucking COVID-19 on a test that she never took. Help me understand that one, people. Or what about the guy in Florida that died in a motorcycle accident and they labeled it as a COVID-19 cause of death? Really? You fucking kidding me? Or maybe it was the COVID-19 that caused him to crash. So basically, we know nothing. We know nothing. Yet, we have these geniuses that are elected specifically to the school boards that are making these decisions to return to school. These people that are up for re-election, by the way, very, very soon. So these people are in charge of our education system. I mean, we're talking about the people that are responsible for educating our children. They're responsible for the future of our children outside of, the home environment, the parents. But from an education standpoint, that's them, right? That's their job for reading, writing, arithmetic type of stuff primarily. And then let's not forget the liberal propaganda for a lot of them. I want to talk about what actually helps our kids learn. This is based on science, not Mike's opinion or what I read in the paper. Wait, I don't read papers, but what I read online or, what YouTube video I watched. No, this is science, people. Let's talk about what works, what helps our kids learn. Okay, first off, it's socializing, watching the teacher, engaging with others, learning social skills by sharing and communicating, group work, playing together, being creative, having recess, having art class and music, most importantly, movement in the classroom or outside, getting exposed to new things. How about more active learning and less electronic learning, even though it's very important. Yeah, I get it. Like we're in a world where you got to be technologically savvy to get by. But in terms of like your fundamental developmental foundation education, that's not to be learned looking at a screen. Working together and playing together, that's going to follow you for the rest of your life. If you can't do that, how in the hell are you going to succeed in the business world or really any other world? So all these people that are supposed to be in charge of creating the best learning environments, they choose to do this. And we just got this update yesterday. And my wife and I are making the decision here on what in the hell we're going to do. So here's what we're supposed to do based on these people that are supposed to be in charge of educating our children. There are required temperature checks throughout the day. There's overly sanitized classrooms. Everyone is required to wear a mask. Goggles, in some cases. Are you kidding me? Goggles and a mask? What the fuck? Clear partitions. limiting art and music, distancing from other kids. I mean, we're not talking about time out here or, hey, you go to the calm down chair or whatever, but throughout the school day, distancing from other kids, requiring the masks for not only the students, but also the teachers, limiting school visitors. So help me understand, please explain to me this one. How is this going to help a child? Number one, make them feel safe. And number two, promote learning. Outside of movement, I think making a child feel safe and comfortable in an environment that's probably the most important thing. If you have your natural fight or flight instincts kick in, fight, flight, or freeze really kick in, and you're in the fear or the flight zone, you're not going to learn shit. Then it gets into all of you geniuses out there that want to debate it. It's like, tell me what you know about sympathetic and parasympathetic nervous systems. If you're in the sympathetic nervous system, you're not learning. If you're in the parasympathetic nervous system, you're rocking and rolling. You're gaining momentum. You're creative. You're healthy. But you're not going to get there being scared and with it being reinforced every day with multiple temperature checks. What happens when a kid gets the common cold that we all get every year? All of a sudden it's like, hey, Johnny or Susie has a tummy ache or a sniffle, so they have to stay home and be quarantined for 14 days. Where in a pre-COVID world, it was like Johnny or Susie has a tummy ache or the sniffles and they stay home for 24 hours. As long as they're fever-free for 24 hours, they're good. Come on back. Whatever happened to that, and what's going to be the new normal. So going back to making them feel safe and promoting learning and the environment, that's very critical for that. Do you know where we find things like taking vitals and using lots of disinfectants and PPE, isolation, partitions, masks, limited visitors, not letting you outside? We find that in hospitals, people, not schools. Yes, there are places that are full of sick people and not healthy children trying to learn. So go to a hospital and try to learn, see how that affects you. Tell me how that works out for you. When we tour a school, look, I'm not gonna give myself any credit. This is my wife's decision. And this is like her department, so I'll say when we, mostly she, tour a school, we want to see children, having fun and playing and learning and interacting. If we toured a school where, desks were segregated and far apart, everyone wore masks and some places goggles. Hand sanitizers are on every desk and chemicals were every which way. The kids can't interact with anyone. And, there's limited transitions. And I'm not talking about the Bruce Jenner to Caitlyn Jenner transition type, but the changing of classes and changing of activities type of transitions. Yep, I went there and I warned you folks. This show isn't for everyone, but all are welcome. So, getting back, when you have art, music, recess, like all that stuff is either completely not happening or it's significantly minimized, who wouldn't be shocked? Even if the school said, hey, but our kids have a low rate of illness and we miss fewer days out of the school year than anywhere else. I'd still reject that. How can you learn well in that environment is what question I would ask. Think about that one. How would you learn well in that environment when neuroscience proves otherwise? I don't know. Here's what we do know. Fear decreases your immunity. Fear. It goes back again to the sympathetic, parasympathetic nervous system, the fight or flight or freeze. If you're in fear or in the sympathetic nervous system, your immunity is decreased. So why in the hell would we send our kids back to school where every single day the fear of this COVID virus, the China virus, is reinforced? Every day, multiple times a day, it's reinforced. The same thing that builds brains and improves learning also improves your body and its support of the immune system. Yet we're going to be masking that, pun intended. So why do we have all these schools going against those things? I'm no freaking expert. I don't know. I would love to see a school system that comes out and talks about how they're going to support the development of the children instead of only talking about how they will minimize, like they know or anyone knows, how they're going to minimize a spread of a virus. Should the focus of the school board be learning or not learning and more focused on virus mitigation? That's an easy one to answer. Overall, these restrictions are going to affect parents, especially single parents. But more importantly, it's going to affect the children with disabilities or learning challenges and so many more of call it the vulnerable population, because all of the parents can't stay at home and teach their children during the day. I work from home. My wife works from home. But what a pain in the ass it is to homeschool our kids, and we have the freedom and flexibility of, I don't have to clock in and be at my desk at 8 a.m. or 9 a.m. or, whatever. But it does throw a big wrench in our day-to-day when we have to be responsible for Zoom meetings, and after those are over within an hour, it's like back to summertime. But what about the parents? Again, especially the single parents that they don't have that set up. They got to go into a job every day, go into an office, go into a shop, go into a restaurant, whatever, during the school day that their kids are generally in school. Or take the people that don't have the ability to teach the kids. I have a college degree, and I sure as hell would be the worst teacher out there. But take the people that have zero education and have them explain certain things in school. I mean, and I'm not joking here. Call me a dumbass, but I give you a middle finger. There are subjects that go way back, right? Where I was passing notes to girls and thinking about football practice. And, then I got a little bit older, and it's like, now I'm thinking about driving my car and, where's the next party? And then in college, what's the fraternity doing this weekend? Where's the football game? What's the line on the Auburn Tigers versus, freaking Georgia or whatever? Not necessarily paying attention to accounting or calculus. And by the way, I continue to get the surveys. I haven't gotten in a couple of years, but this was like a long ass time after I graduated, and I graduated Auburn in 2003. I would get the surveys from the business school in the mail, like, hey, tell us about your time here and all that kind of stuff. And all I remember, it's like, and I would put this on the freaking postcard. It's like, yeah, it was great, but I've still never used calculus that I took, let's just say, a multiple of times. Never, ever. But good night. I mean, fuck, I can't. Talk about feeling like a dumbass. Take your fifth grader and like what they're learning and stuff, and try to go back in your brain archive. Like, I don't remember any of that stuff. It's like, hey, I need a refresher. And then some of it's like, especially with, unfortunately, we haven't had to deal with it, but this Common Core baloney of a curriculum, I wouldn't know how to teach my kid that. It's almost like, I don't know, dude, just Google it. Or, I mean, I look, I'm guilty. I have said this before. Because, in fact, my father gave me this advice. I don't know if I would call it advice, but just this example. Back in the day, he wasn't the scholar student or anything like that. He'd say, Michael, the A students are your doctors and lawyers and accountants or CPAs, whatever. Your B students are your everyday employee that is doing sales or marketing or HR. Your C students own the company typically and write the checks to the employees. So as long as you fall within A, B, or C, I'm good with that. And I've told my kids, I really don't care if you get straight A's or not, like some people, because grades are just freaking meaningless unless you want to be a doctor or a lawyer or get into a very competitive school. So getting off track, getting back. If the job of the school board and educators is to help kids learn, then why don't we put that first? And let's put in the support measures that don't negatively affect learning. So this whole like not opening or online only, I mean, who gets hurt? It's only allowing education to the people that can afford it, the people that can stay at home and have flexibility to either not work or be very flexible in terms of their work hours. How bad is that? Ultimately, schools shouldn't be looked at as an infection control environment. They should be looked at as learning environments. They're not supposed to be set up as freaking hospitals, right? I mean, unless you're like a teaching hospital for physicians, but that's for all you naysayers out there that want to debate. So, when the schools open back up, if they open up as a true learning environment, that allows the kids to naturally improve, naturally learn and build and develop. And what is that? Like what is a true learning environment? Well, it's smaller classes. It is less testing and more critical thinking. As I mentioned earlier, it's movement, which is so damn important. Moving your body. I mean, there is so much that I could go on. In fact, I'll probably do a show on it. In fact, that's what my wife has been working on in terms of a delivery platform of educating people on how movement is so important with just overall life and integrating your brain and your brain body and the behavior and all that connection and stuff, and how you can rewire your brain through movement. Movement like therapy. You can train your brain until the day you die. Your body's building, or your brain's building, new neural pathways that can be activated or strengthened through movement. And it's fascinating. So, I mean, that's integral in an educational environment. So, and this brings on less stress, less trauma. trauma can affect the brain. And therefore, a traumatic event all of a sudden throws this wrench into your, I said that's the second time I've used that analogy, throwing the wrench. Ugh, get something new, Mike. But that's really throwing a curveball. How about that? Into this whole deal is really, I mean, you're going to make my kid put the mask on in the car before they get out at drop off at school. And you're going to have some, guard there with the thermometer taking the temperature. And now I got to walk into class and everyone's wearing masks like freaking Friday the 13th or Jason or Freddy Krueger, whatever. And then you don't get the facial expressions from, take a kid trying to learn how to read, or like a little kid trying to learn basic principles and they can't see facial expressions. Good luck there, people. So I'm on this rant of, we need, and maybe during all of this change, right? All this change going on, people don't know what's going on here or there. They make a decision, then they renege or change the decision 24 hours later. It's like, okay, let's step back, folks, and let's really look at what's the best for our children. And it should be a healthy learning environment that's set up for safety and education that can be accepted, and not some infection control environment. I mean, for fuck's sake, we cannot avoid the virus. That is bottom line. Look at all these professionals or so-called professionals. No one knows, other than the common sense people, understanding that we can't avoid it. And we also can't just shut down the world because of it, which leads into another topic, which I'm going to get on a future show, not this one. But I'm going to admit that I think I might be wrong on some of my opinion in the past. I'm trying to research this a little bit more, but there's so much out there that it kind of all starts to make sense with who runs this country, who runs this world, really. I guess wrapping this thing up, I mean, I'm not for or against right now, because I don't know whether or not we should open up schools. I know ours has been delayed until the end of August 31st or something. And we have the option of doing the online deal or in person. My wife asked the school, with this whole face masks are required. And it was, well, you say that it's required, but how's it going to be enforced? Is there a punishment, or is there what happens if you don't comply with the requirement? Are you not going to allow the student to participate in school that day? You're going to send them home, or, expel them? I don't know. And the response was, we'll send reminders. So I'm going to here's the roll my eye emoji. Oh, really? Yeah, we're going to send reminders. Okay, that kind of tells me all I need to know. But my kids go to a charter school. We've done the private school. I have no idea how these private schools are going to survive. I mean, it's one thing to send your kid off to that environment for a private school education, whether it be you're in a shitty area, the school system sucks, or, you want your kid to have a Catholic education, for example, or a boarding school, whatever. And all of a sudden, these things have turned to online. There's no way in hell most people that have logical sense are going to sit there and say, oh, well, I'm going to pay for my kids to attend this private school when it's online, after my tax dollars are already going to pay for public school anyway. I mean, it opens up a whole nother conversation. So what a time to be living in, dude. And dudettes, or whatever they call the other gender. By the way, there's only two. I appreciate you listening. I really do. This is episode number 4. If you made it this far, thank you. On top of thank you is tell someone. Tell your friends. Tell your people that you don't like, hey, you need to check out the Hot AF show. It's open to everyone. Leave me a review, please, on iTunes, YouTube, subscribe, wherever you're listening to this stuff, and like the Facebook page, and just do whatever you can to help me out. I'd appreciate it. This stuff isn't magic. It's not like, hey, you create something, then bam, you're the next Joe Rogan or Tim Ferriss or anything like that. It requires me telling you fine listeners to help me out. I'm not asking for money or anything. Like and subscribe and share and tell your friends. If you do that, I'm going to shake your hand. None of this like elbow bumping or whatever. I'm going to give you a hug, shake your hand. I appreciate that stuff. So until the next episode, enjoy your freedom, arm up, load up, train, love your neighbor, and God bless America. We'll talk to you next time.